Come on.
Happy, and sometimes we make them very sad, but occasionally we're blessed with actually changing some lives. I want to show you an episode we did last spring. It was a show with Holocaust revisionist Ernest Hollander.
4 brothers, 4 sisters. My father and mother, we arrived finally to Auschwitz, where they right away took away my mother and 3 little sisters, and they killed them. Killed them in the crematoriums and the gas chambers. The rest of the family went to work, to labor camps.
And up until a few weeks ago, Ernie thought his older brother, Zoltan, was dead. Someone told Ernie they saw Zoltan die in the labor camp. But thankfully, to a man who was a viewer in our viewing audience, a man who was Zoltan's neighbor in Yugoslavia, he was watching this show that day, and he helped find Zoltan Hollander, and in a few minutes, Ernie will see his brother for the first time in 51 years. Now, we'll hear all those details and witness the Hollander brothers' reunion in a few short minutes. Please don't go away.
It's a real alternative. Now treating my own recurring yeast infections really costs me less. That's an alternative.
The cure is the same?
And it costs less? Introducing FemCare, the cure that costs less. FemCare's ingredient has been trusted by doctors and gynecologists to cure yeast infections for over 15 years.
And it's full prescription strength.
For an initial diagnosis, see your doctor. Then use FemCare. The cure is the same. It costs less. That's an alternative.
Trust FemCare, the cure that costs less.
It was the strangest thing. I came in from the garden and heard these bubbling sounds from the kitchen. On the stove was this hearty simmering pot of stew, chunks of beef, potatoes, carrots, and on the counter a can of Dinty Moore beef stew. It hit me. The big guy had been there, Dinty Moore, cooking his stew in my kitchen. Wasn't crazy about the huge thumbprint on the counter, but the stew was real satisfying.
Dinty Moore, the stuff that legends are made of.
Our wedded bliss could be over. All we have left are 2 NyQuil liquid caps of these other pills.
You take the liquid caps. You've got a big day tomorrow.
Why should you suffer? I'll take these.
But then you could still be up tonight with a sore throat and a cough, and you need the rest more than me. I insist.
The power of liquid medicine the way you want it. Vicks NyQuil liquid caps. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine.
I just hope my coughing doesn't keep you awake, riddled with guilt.
Fixing lunch is one of the joys of motherhood.
Peanut butter again?
It's a thankless job.
Ew, egg salad? Isn't this your doggy bag from last night?
You're always pressed for time.
Are you mad at me?
Thank goodness for Lunchables from Oscar Mayer. Their best meats, cheeses, crackers, even dessert. Best of all, kids love them.
Thanks, Mom.
Lunchables from Oscar Mayer. Nothing but the best.
Georgievich, the man who wrote to us to say that Ernie's brother Zoltan was alive, and also Anna and Ernie Hollander, Holocaust survivors. Thank you very much for being here on the show. And I want to start and ask you a question, Ernie, but I'm going to hold it because I've got to ask Zeke about this. Zeke, you were at home watching the Montel Williams show. I got to plug this. Watch this. Watching the Montel Williams show at home, and what did you see?
Well, first moment when I saw Mr. Hollander on TV, I said, my God, he looks exactly like my neighbor. Then when you start talking about, when you said his name and when he starts speaking about his family history, I said, this is it. So I wrote down that on paper. That was about time when I was ready to go to Yugoslavia to visit my mother. And as soon as I went to Yugoslavia, I saw one of Zoltan's son, Momčilo, and I talked with him. I said, I think I have his family over there in the United States, but please try to tell your father in a nice way so he won't be very much...
like have a heart attack.
Heart attack or something like that.
Right.
And But I knew Mr. Zoltan Hollander from a Serbian Jewish Friendship Society. I met him 3 years ago, and he told me his story that he was in a labor camp in Yugoslavia. And my father was in the same camp. So that made me to remember his story. And also, the reason I was watching the show was that my father is not Jewish, that my father suffered so much. There was a Holocaust with the Serbian people too. And there is so many people today who talk about that never happened, that's not the truth. But it is the truth. It happened, unfortunately, to people over there.
Let me hold you for a second there with that, Zico, because, you know, when we did this show, and I have to let everybody know, we did that show, we received an unbelievable amount of negative press and letters. We were almost sued by every Jewish league that wanted to try to sue us because they said we should have never given these people an opportunity to even speak out. Okay? But we did the show because we wanted people like the Hollanders here to say that it did happen. Now, you try to call us. Matter of fact, you spoke to my assistant, right?
After I get permission from Mr. Zoltan Hollander to pursue his brother, I contacted a few Jewish organizations in New York thinking that they'll be happy to help me, but they turned me down. So the only source I could do was to contact TV. I thought it will be easier to look through the Jewish files to find them. But they said, no, we have no time for that. Call a TV show. Then I called the TV show, and people turned me down. I have to say that.
You called our show?
Yes.
And we turned you back? And the reason is because when he called up, he said...
I was persistent. I called more than a month.
Right.
And finally, I said, please, I'll give you my phone number. Let the gentleman call me collect. I know you think I'm some kind of a weirdo. I don't know what to say, but I'm not. I'm just a nice person trying to help some other people.
All right, well, hold right there, because what happened is, wait a minute, because Zika did call us, and when he called the show, he called up and said, hey, I know this guy, and I know his brother's in Yugoslavia. Now, we do a lot of shows, and people call up and say, hey, Montel, I'm your brother. You lost me like 55 years ago. I'm 36, and I don't know. So we said to you, send a letter so we could verify.
Yes.
We got the letter from you, and then we started to pursue it, but go ahead.
Yes, then I received a call from Anna Hollander, and we talked, and at that time I had on paper written down all the family data from Zoltan Hollander. And I started reading to her, and then Ernie said, yes, that's my brother.
Okay, now stop there, because Anna, this man called you and said to you, I know who Ernie's brother is.
Right.
Now, what went through your mind when he did this?
I got a call first from Melanie, which is...
She's my assistant.
Whatever she is here. My husband was at work, and I picked up the phone, and she says, I have some news for you. She says, I think your husband has a brother in Yugoslavia. And I said to her, no, it cannot be. It's already after 50 years, it cannot be. I was screaming, it cannot be. She says, yes, I have a gentleman who sent in a letter. Give me permission to open that letter. I'm going to read for you the letter. I know a little bit my husband's background because we almost grew up together. So I knew more or less his whole family, and I says, go ahead, and he was reading the paper to me, that letter, that the mother and the father and the name and when they were born and all this. I says, oh my God, that's my husband's family. So I hung up on Melanie. I called up the gentleman. She gave me his phone number. I called up and I talked to him. I says, are you sure that's my husband's brother? Because we went through so much in life, and I really didn't want to disappoint my husband that he has a brother, that he's still alive. I figured we lived so many years. It took us so many years to know that they are dead, with pain and pain to go through the life. So I didn't want to disappoint my husband. So I walked out outrageous outside, like, I remember I wasn't from the liberation. I'm free, I'm free. What I did, I went to a rabbi, to my rabbi, and I told him, I says, Rabbi, help me. I don't know what to tell my husband, how to prepare him. He knows Hershey, his brother, had a memorial plaque.
Right, we have that plaque, but
yes,
go ahead. We do have that plaque. Let's see that plaque. Please, go ahead. Go ahead, Anna.
For years, he knew that he is dead. How can I disappoint my husband in case it's not his brother? That was my mind what I went through. How can I tell him? So he prepared me. He says, look, your husband will come home. You sit down. Don't be by yourself in the house. And my husband has high blood pressure, and I didn't want to. And he came home, and I sat him down, and I said to him, sit down. I have...
Stop right there. Ernie, you came home, and what did Anna say to you?
Excuse me. I came home. Anna didn't trust herself, so she brought in a few neighbors. And she says to me, Ernie, I got good news for you, but sit down. I didn't like it to start off. She said, I got good news for you, but sit down. And then she goes away in the next room, and I hear she's crying. She's crying terrible. She comes back, and I said, honey, if this is such a good news, why are you crying? And then...
I understand, Ernie. I understand.
Finally, she said, you have a brother alive. Now, I knew this is the only brother that I didn't see dying. I saw my father, my mother, 3 little sisters, an older brother, but this brother I didn't know. But I met somebody in the Israeli army, a man who was together with my brother Ashi. And he told me that as the Germans took away a town where he was fighting with the Yugoslavian partisans, he saw that the Germans hung him on a tree. Not only they hung him on a tree, he cut off the robe after the next day. So I assumed he's not alive. So how could he be alive? People saw him dead.
And your family, this is one of the plaques, right? I mean, a memorial plaque?
Yeah, this is a plaque that I had for all my family. This says Zev Meyer, that's my father. Scheindl, that's my mother. Sarah, my sister. Hershey, that's hopefully, we will never have to read this name on the tablet. Moishi, another brother. Piri, a sister. Sprintz, a little sister. And Mira, a little sister.
Well, I've got to say, I think we made Ernie wait long enough because we flew, this show paid to fly his brother in here from Yugoslavia and one of his sons. And when we come back, we're going to give you an opportunity to meet your brother for the first time after 51 years. We'll be back right after this.
Will Dan's dad kiss and tell?
We're getting married.
Find out on the next Roseanne.
Tonight, beginning at 6 on Fox 5.
They're young.
What you're telling me is that we sometimes bite each other?
They're wild.
It's an acquired taste.
They're Carpathians.
See, I told you we're a very loving family.
I think it's time we came out of the damn coffin.
Tonight at 8 on Fox 5.
Lucille Roberts $7.95 Veterans Day Sale-a-thon. You've got only 24 hours to join Lucille Roberts for only $7.95. Lucille Roberts 24-hour $7.95 Sale-a-thon. Sale ends Thursday. Lose weight in inches, trim hips and thighs. $7.95 per year, 2-year membership. Get step classes, aerobics, latest equipment, Stairmasters, bicycles, unlimited visits, and more. You've got only 24 hours to join Lucille Roberts for $7.95. Lucille Roberts 24-hour $7.95 Sale-a-thon. Sale ends Thursday. Grand opening 14th Street and 5th, Steinway Street, Astoria, and Parkchester.
Paul Sloan. Sexual charisma, -6. Last date, February 1983. But all that's about to change.
Yes, simply irresistible.
Now, Paul's the one they all want.
You like those radios?
And Paul wants them all. Love Potion number 9, rated PG-13. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Spent a lot of time getting a high school diploma but not a good job? Maybe it's time you did something about it. Time on your hands because you've got everything but a job? Maybe it's time you learned a new skill. Spending time making extra money because your regular job's not enough? Maybe it's time you called Chubb and got the computer skills to change your life.
Good as these cleaners are, you can spray and spray all night and day with them and still have lots of germs because you can't clean germs. You have to kill them. You need Lysol Direct. Direct is more than a grease cutter. It's a real Lysol disinfectant, too. Just cleaning, you still got germs. Get Lysol Direct because you can't clean germs. You have to kill them. And now there's new Lysol Direct Smart Pack Refill with the Easy Pour spout. It helps you save money and reduce trash, too. New from Lysol Direct.
Just compare. Check our ads, shop our stores, prove it to yourself. You'll see nobody but nobody does more to save you more.
ShopRite has so many things on sale.
With more weekly sale items.
This week, Ribber Center Cut Loin Pork Chops or roast half price $1.89 a pound. Fresh broccoli, 89 cents a bunch. ShopRite cranberry drinks, $2.99 a gallon, and save $4 with discount tickets to Walt Disney's World on Ice featuring Beauty and the Beast November 24th.
We save you money.
More money.
ShopRite does it right.
Well, again, sometimes we do those things that people complain about what all talk shows do, and that's those pieces of information that we provide to you that you sit at home and say, well, why the devil are they doing that on television? Well, it's because of this that we get to do things like that. And as long as I can continue to do things like this, I think I'll stay on the air and do all the other shows because this makes it all worthwhile. Please, let's welcome the missing piece to the Hollander family, Zoltan. I know this is kind of... Alex, you are another brother, right? We just didn't have you on the other show, and thank you very much for being here. We should get another chair, please, and we'll move that.
Yes, Connie.
Yes, sir. You stay right over here. Yes, sir. Maybe I can ask you, because I know that Zoltan doesn't speak that much English, and you could help and translate for us. Bazika, could you ask him, how does it feel to see his family after all this time?
Muito bem.
Go ahead.
Oni žele da znaju kako se osjećaš pošto si video ponovo svoju familiju.
Bojao sam se da će da bude gore. Mnogo je lepo je i zahvaljujem se i televiziji američkoj i gospodinu Đorđeviću što mi je omogućio do ovoga da dođem.
He said he thought it going to be a lot worse comparing to his emotions, that he'll be more distressed, but he would like to thank TV show and myself for this great opportunity to see his family again.
And one more question. I know that there are a lot of family members here in the audience that he did not even know he had. Yes. How does he feel now to know that his family has doubled?
Kako se osjećaš da imaš ovoliku familiju ovdje za koju nisi ni znao da postoji?
Pa ja prosto ne mogu da se saberem i da budem pametan da od nas tolike, ipak hvala Bogu, i ostalo još toliko koliko je otišlo, još toliko je ostalo.
He said he can't believe that there is, I would say, so many people survived, that he didn't know anything about anyone of his family since this day.
Surviving. Well, you know what? We do have one more piece, really, and I think this is more for Ernest. Ernest, I don't even know if you knew you had 3 nephews, but we have your 3 nephews here also. These are your nephews, Ernest. And we'll be back right after this.
There are a lot of smart reasons to apply for the American Express card. Just call us at 1-800-THE-CARD.
And you can handle the unexpected.
I can't believe they canceled our flight.
You're not stranded. You can rent a car, change your plans, whatever.
It'll be fine. This is a great day. It's a beautiful drive.
Because unlike a bank card, the American Express card has no preset spending limit.
So call 1-800-THE-CARD. You can apply right over the phone.
With the American Express card, you're in control. You pay your bill in full. There's no revolving debt, no outrageous interest. You stay out of that trap.
Apply now, and if you qualify, you'll soon be enjoying the benefits of card membership.
And when you travel, you'll feel secure.
I still don't know where I lost that wallet. My whole life was in it. Pictures, license.
So we're on bread and water?
Oh, no. New card.
If you ever lose the card or it's stolen, you can get a replacement in 24 hours.
So call 1-800-THE-CARD.
And wherever you go, you'll feel confident with American Express people to help you around the country, around the world, around the clock. More than 50,000 people in more than 1,700 travel locations to solve problems or simply answer your questions. No other card has the tradition of service that American Express has.
You can apply right over the phone.
You can get medical and legal referrals while traveling as well.
Good. Well, the medicine. Did you tell them we lost my medicine?
Yep, new prescription's waiting for us.
All you need to do is call American Express. No bank card can offer you all the benefits of American Express. All around town, all around the world.
Don't delay. Call 1-800-THE-CARD and apply now.
The card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
And we're back, and the magic of television led us to Zoltan kind of by accident, but now we're going to try to initiate some reunions ourselves. Please welcome Kim Henson, who is desperately looking for her father because he may be the only match she can find for a kidney transplant, and also Mr. Rick Martin, who is looking for the sister he lost many years ago. And thank you both for being here. Now, Kim, hopefully the same thing can happen for you that we were able to have happen for Zoltan. Now, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on? When did you find out that you needed to have a kidney transplant?
Well, when I was 18, they told me that sometime in the future I would be on a kidney dialysis. My mother recently was tested. She was not a match.
How old are you now, can I ask?
I will be 23 in December.
And how much, when you were 18, you said recently, when did you go on to dialysis?
A year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago?
Yes.
So you've been on it now for a year and a half?
Yes.
They tested your mother and you said what?
She was not a match.
She wasn't a match. So now there is a chance that this father that you're missing could be a match.
Yes.
When's the last time you saw your father?
When I was 12. That was in 1982.
1982?
April of 1980.
April, so a little over 10 years ago.
Yes.
What do you think, I mean, do you know anywhere? Do you know where he might be?
Yes.
Where do you think he might be?
I know where he lives.
You do know where he lives? Where?
Not exactly. He lives in Connecticut.
In Connecticut. And this show is aired in Connecticut, so...
Okay.
And do you think that if he saw you now on the show, he might come forward and say, I'll help that baby girl of mine?
A good possibility.
Knowing that he's the only person out there that could be a match?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay, now Rick, how about you? Why haven't you seen your sister?
Well, my brother and I, our sister were put in orphanage when we were babies. Our mother didn't want it, she just dumped us in there. And this past September, we found our brother after 41 years.
You found your brother this past, really? And then you're still, both of you now are searching for that sister?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea of where your sister might be?
No, she was adopted when she was roughly a year and a half old.
Do you know where you were put up for adoption at? What state?
In Cobourg.
Cobourg?
Yeah, Cobourg, Ontario, in Canada.
Ontario, Canada. This show does air in Canada. Yeah. So, do you think that where did you end up at after you were adopted?
I was lucky. I got one family, a good family, and I stayed in Canada until my adopted father died. Then we moved to Florida. But my sister, like my father's in the military, so my brother and I think that maybe she was adopted into a military family, so she could be anywhere.
And how old do you think she might be now?
She'd be 40 now.
She would be 40 now. Mm-hmm. So there's a good chance or a good possibility that she might be out there somewhere and notice you. Is there anything that you think is a family trait that if a person was sitting there right now going, I don't know if that guy could be my brother, what could be a family trait that you could point out that she might recognize?
My brother and I look like twins.
So do you think your sister may look like you?
Awful close. We look awful the same.
How many years apart were you and your sister?
Be 3 years apart.
3 years apart. So you think that you might kind of look the same?
Yeah.
Wait a minute now, you know, there's not too many women out there that admit that they look just like you. No beard. No beard, I'm only kidding. But at least the fact that she may bear some resemblance to, now, does your brother speak with kind of a Canadian accent like you do?
No, yeah, close, but he's been down in California now for 12 years.
He's been in, see, I can't even know, he's been where for
down in California.
California for 41 years. So there is a chance that you might be able to find her. You had a question. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anybody else in your family that could possibly help you besides your father if you don't find him?
I'm sure there are others, but you know, not many, nobody has come forward to say, well, Kim, you know, can I, you know, be tested and maybe I can give you a kidney.
Well, you know,
so I don't ask anyone.
What's funny about that also, though, Kim, is that, you know, I guess, and I know you probably know this as a fact, that blacks who are in need of kidneys are probably the last people on the planet to get them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because
yes.
Just for some reason, black people are put in priority high enough to get a kidney. But do you think there might be somebody out there that could be a match? If there's a person who is a potential donor, should they be thinking about going in and seeing if they could send you one?
Hopefully. I am on the kidney list now.
Okay.
And hopefully before the year is out, maybe I may get one.
Does the orphanage have any records you can possibly check in Canada to help you with your search?
Not really. Not in the 50s. They didn't give a poontang about anybody. Like, they told my brother that he was adopted first. And he wasn't. He was adopted third. So the orphanage way off the bat.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask Kim, why hasn't she seen her father in the last 10 years?
Well, my mother, back in April of 1982, my mother was getting married that June. And I saw my father. My mother gave him a wedding invitation to come to her wedding. And his attitude was that, you know, she's getting married, so let this new man take care of her.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering, does your sister know that she has 2 older brothers?
This we don't know. I was lucky. My family told me that I was adopted. And so did Paul's family. My brother was bounced around to 14 different homes. But we were lucky that our family did tell us that we were adopted.
Okay, now why don't you tell us a little bit about, because there is a little bit of history in your family about things like the abandonment that might click a bell off in your sister's head if she's out there watching the show. Why don't you tell us about that abandonment?
Well, our father left when I was youngest, and my mother's a drunk, and she couldn't afford anything, so she moved in with our grandparents. And
she had you with her at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
And our grandparents used to go out once in a while, and our mother would come home with a strange guy drunk and throw us kids in the basement. And I look after the kids.
Okay, and how old was your sister when this was going on?
She was just a little baby.
Like 2, 1, 2?
No, not even then. She's about 6 months old.
About 6 months old. So, yeah. Now how long?
We used to live near a band shell. That's what I can remember.
A band shell?
Yeah.
And how long were you living there? So by the time, was she 1 or 2 when you were finally put up for adoption? How old was
she? She was about a year old.
A year old. So if she remembers and thinks about hearing music when she was a baby or a band shell, that might trigger a memory?
I hope so.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, just like to ask you, when did you start to initiate the search for your sister, and do you think that it might just be too late?
If we just started, my brother started 15 years ago, I started this year.
Your brother started looking for you?
15 years ago.
And it took him 15 years to find you? Well, let me just tell you that, I don't know, the power of television brought 2 people together by just the fluke of nature, so maybe we were able to do something for you. Next up, we're going to meet a woman who resented her best friend, and after nearly a decade of distance, wants another chance. We'll be back right after this.
shiny and disinfecting, nothing outperforms us in the bathroom. Dow Bathroom Cleaner, starring Scrubbing Bubbles. We work hard, so you don't have to.
6 o'clock. Hi, Tim. Hey, collecting for the paper. Gee, something smells great.
Tim, you always show up when I'm making chicken and stovetop.
Really? Mom, can Tim stay? Celery, onions, herbs, and spices. Yeah. 8 o'clock.
Tim, you always show up when I'm making stovetop.
Really?
You can never get enough stovetop stuffing. And to make as little or as much as you want, try stovetop in the canister.
Drixoral is. Sudafed isn't. Drixoral is. Contac isn't. 12-hour-long prescription-strong Drixoral is the one cold medicine pharmacists have recommended most for 10 years. Take it from your pharmacist. Take Drixoral.
Make Giant Carpet part of your Veterans Day shopping. With 50% off carpets and rugs, you'll have plenty left over for the other things you need.
So now you're a veteran. Time to decide what's next? Maybe it's time you called Chubb and got started. Worried about becoming a victim of the times and the cutbacks? Maybe it's time you learned a new skill. If you think it's time to change your direction, maybe it's time you called Chubb and got the computer skills to change your life.
This is it. Princeton's Giant Stadium Ski Show and Sale is going on now with everything in stock on sale. Imagine over $15 million worth of name brand ski clothing and equipment. Imagine this area's largest free ski show featuring all the hot resorts, plus live shows nightly, plus an indoor skating rink where you can actually demo our rollerblade skates absolutely free. Stop imagining. Princeton's Giant Stadium Ski Show and Sale ends this Saturday, November 14th. For information, call 1-800-ALL-SKIS. Don't miss out.
Accommodations for guests of the Montel Williams Show provided by New York's Park Central Hotel, within walking distance of major theaters, restaurants, and shopping areas.
We're talking about using the medium of TV to find lost loved ones, and sometimes people don't get lost, they become estranged. Please welcome Dorothy Gergen, who deliberately distanced herself from her best friend when the friend became successful. Now, Dorothy, that sounds like one of those evil sister stories here. Why did you tell your friend to take a hike, or what happened?
Well, as I think about it today, it wasn't a very smart thing to do because I miss her friendship a lot.
When you say best friend, was this like your sister?
Well, I don't have a sister, so you might say that was like that because we did a lot together. Since we were in kindergarten, we were friends. We lived in what we call Bonnie Haim, which was, we grew up poor, and we used to play on the garbage cans and play house together. We went through school together.
Through elementary school,
yes.
Junior high school, high school, then what?
I got married. She went on to beauty school, became a beautician. And I got a job and started working. We bought houses, got married. She didn't have a family. I had one daughter. And my daughter was like, they were her aunt and uncle. And then she got a beauty shop, got successful. And I guess I never thought I was rich enough for her.
Did you start getting jealous?
I guess that, now, I didn't think that at the time.
But looking back at it now.
Yes.
And you started doing all those evil things that jealous friends can do, right?
Yeah.
In a way, right?
I wasn't nice.
You weren't nice, so you kind of, you drove her away, if you will.
Yes, she really moved to another state.
Was it because of the fact that of this estrangement between the two of you that she did that?
No, she was separated. Her and her husband got a divorce, and she moved to Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas.
Yes.
And how long, I mean, how long has this been since you talked to her last?
Oh, gosh. Maybe 7 years.
7 years. And
6 or 7 years.
Did she know that there was something wrong
Yes.
with the two of you? Did she
Yes.
ever talk to you about it?
She told one of my friends that we all went to the beauty shop together that she didn't know what happened because we shared Christmases every year. And all of a sudden, I just didn't come. I didn't call or anything. I just, you know, she would buy nice gifts. And I felt that I couldn't afford to repay those gifts. So I just didn't show up.
What is this friend's name?
Lushane.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Lushane.
Lushane.
Yes.
So what would you say to Lushane if you could talk to her?
I'd say I was sorry.
You're sorry?
Yes.
And what else? I mean, how much did her friendship mean to you?
It meant a lot.
Did it?
Yes.
So if you could get a chance to see Lucienne, or at least talk to her, would you try to do it?
I wanted to go to her wedding. She got married in June, and my friend got an invitation. And I wanted to take the invitation and go there, but I didn't.
So why don't you just say hello to Lucienne? Say hello.
Lucienne, if you're watching, hello. Hello, Dorothy. Lucienne, is that you?
It's me.
Are you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
We found Lucienne today to see if
I didn't even
you
know
could
what your
talk
married
to
name
her.
was.
It's Collins.
What is it?
Collins.
Collins?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry I missed your wedding. I'm
That's
sorry I
okay.
missed so much in the last 7 years.
That's okay. I miss you too.
I had to come to New York to find you.
That's terrible.
Lucienne, did you hear what she had to say about the fact that she missed your friendship?
Yes, I did.
So what are we going to do to get this together, folks? Are we going to try to visit each other, or what?
Well,
I think I'm going to have to go to Texas, or you're going to have to come back to Kenosha.
Really? Really?
So, I mean, in the 7 years that you've been apart, why don't we just be like eavesdroppers and let's gossip a little bit? Lucienne, what happened? Did you feel Dorothy kind of pushing you away?
Yeah, I really did, because I couldn't figure out what I did wrong, because we were friends for so long, and I didn't know if I had said something wrong or did something wrong. I didn't know what had happened. And I tried real hard to find out, but every time I tried to find out, I was kind of shut out. So I just thought, well, I didn't know what I did, so.
I'm glad that the two of you can at least try now. After the show, we'll give the numbers out and you can try to be in contact. But does it anger you a little bit that this was all about success?
Gosh, I don't know. I guess sometimes you're so involved in what you're doing, you just don't think about it. You've got, you know, I've always been a real ambitious person, so, and I still am. So I don't know. I don't know what to say.
But being good friends, can you now put that aside and get on with it and say, okay, I forgive you and let's try to rebuild this?
Oh, of course, I can. I always loved Dorothy. I've loved her from little on. I've never changed my feelings for her. I just didn't know why her feelings had changed.
What do you think, Dorothy?
I don't know. They didn't. Jealousy, pride, not good enough, not measuring up.
Well, now you know that doesn't matter, so you two can get back on track, right?
Yeah. Right?
All right, yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is for Kim. I wanted to know if you have any brothers and sisters that can give you the transplant, and I also wanted to let you know that our prayers are with you.
Okay. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
Well, by my real father, I have an older brother and an older sister who I never met.
Is there any way, have they been tested or contacted to see if they can help you?
No.
Do you know where they live?
I heard my sister lives in Philadelphia and my brother's in the service.
Okay, well, we are on in Philadelphia, so maybe that sister was watching and may heed the call. Yes, sir.
My question is for Kim, too. Have you tried to locate your father by way of last name or social security number or some other form like that?
No, last summer, I went to his mother's house, which is my grandmother, and I met her for the first time. And she claims that he doesn't keep in contact with them, which I don't believe. Maybe she just doesn't want to get involved.
Okay, yes, sir.
Oh, how you doing? Kim, I got a question for you, because I want to find my father, too. I haven't seen him in a couple of years. Okay. How are you going about finding him?
She's starting right here.
Starting right here?
Right.
So maybe if my father died, I want to say hi to him or come visit me again. But Kim, I wish you good luck, and my prayers are with you.
Thank you very much.
And when we come back, we'll meet one of our own staff members who lost touch with her brother, and we'll do that right after we come back.
They're outnumbered 10-1.
You just have to be prepared for anything.
Meet the men and women who keep the peace, as Bob O'Brien reports from Inside Rikers, Part 2. Plus, Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins crosses paths with Dracula. Watch the 10 o'clock news tonight on Fox 5.
Brenda discovers all is fair in love.
You said Dylan could go out with whoever he wanted. And you said you were my best friend. What a joke.
Wednesday at 8 on Fox 5.
If you've been seriously injured in an accident, the law limits the time you have to take legal action. Now, if you delay, you could lose your right to receive payment for your injuries. Call the Injury Helpline. Talk to an attorney near you for free, one who will explain your legal rights and costs. There are no attorney fees unless you receive payment for your injuries. Time may be running out. The insurance companies have attorneys working hard on their side, and so should you. Call 1-800-526-0005.
Attention all renters. Are you tired of high crime rates? Fearing for your children when they leave for school? Or are you just sick and tired of paying rent? If so, Y-Rent has the answer. You can own your own 3-bedroom, 1,600 square foot, 2-story home in the heart of the Poconos for $29.50 down and $588 per month. That's $2,950 down and $588 per month for a beautiful country home. Just a short commute from New York. Absolutely no gimmicks or hidden costs. Call 1-800-Y-RENT to get all the facts on the Y-Rent program.
Why pay rent when for $29.50 down and $588 a month, you too can own a beautiful home in the heart of the Poconos. The lakes are clean and the schools are great. Come see the Y-Rent program. Your family will love you for it.
It's fantastic. There's no hidden cost whatsoever.
Thank you, Y-Rent, for making my dream come true.
Call 1-800-Y-RENT.
For tickets to the Montel Williams Show, call 212-840-1700.
We're talking about establishing contact with lost friends and relatives. And please welcome Alicia Olson, our very own makeup artist, and Doris Drumgold. They both have lost touch with very close relatives. And thank you, too, for joining us on the show. Now, why don't we start with you, Alicia? Who have you lost contact with?
I lost contact with my oldest brother. I guess it's been about 2 years since I've talked to him even. He and his wife had a baby almost 2 years ago, and ever since then, I write him and I send the baby presents. I don't even know what the baby looks like. I have no idea. And it's just sad because I don't want to wait until it's 10 years down the road and I haven't seen the kid and he's, growing up. And
you don't even know what your nephew looks like, right?
They sent me a birth announcement. So I have like a miniature infant picture.
Like one of those pictures like
that?
Yeah. Looks like everybody's kid,
at
right?
that age.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But now, why do you think there's this distance? Or why do you think that you haven't been able to get in contact with him?
I don't know if it's that he doesn't like me. I mean, I don't know if it's that or if...
I mean, did you, like, beat your brother over the head before this happened?
No, we were relatively close growing up. I mean, we are stepbrother and sister, so we are the same age, same grade in school and stuff, so...
Okay, so now it's been 2 years. Where does he live now? Do you know?
Yeah, he lives in San Jose.
San Jose. So I'm pretty sure. I know he gets a show. He gets a show out of San Jose.
Sure.
So what would you want to say to him right now? What would you say?
I just don't understand. It seems to me that when you have a baby, you become more family-like, and family's more important. And when I was growing up, my experience with my cousins was really important to me. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I hope he doesn't rob his child of that for when I have children.
Okay, now, how about you, Doris? And who are you missing in your family?
I have an aunt that I haven't seen in about 9 years.
About 9 years?
Yeah.
And what happened?
She picked up and moved the family to Louisiana. And the last time I saw her, I think I was 18 or 19.
Did you make attempts? Did you write her letters? Did you try to contact her and say, look, I want to get in touch with you, and just no response, or what?
Well, I'm in contact with my grandmother, who's her mother, and, excuse me, and, I asked how she's doing, and they'll say she's okay and drop it, and I have cousins that, one of them has a son now. I haven't seen him.
So you just want to know about this part of the family
yeah.
that you're missing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
This question's for Alicia. Did you get along with your brother's wife? Because sometimes, if you don't get along with your sister-in-law, it can lead to a conflict.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't best friends or anything. As a matter of fact, she was best friends with my sister growing up. But, yeah, she's great. She's great.
Yes, ma'am.
if you know where your family is, why don't you just take the first step and go and try to contact them personally? That way you'll know whether or not they really want to see you or not, and you'll know where to go from there.
I do. I write them a lot, as a matter of fact. And, you know, birthdays.
Personal level. Why don't you just, if you know where they live, fly out there, or, you know, take somebody along with you so they can help you if it's a little tougher than you think.
You know what? I'm afraid I won't get a good response. When the baby was born, they had asked my mother if she wouldn't come out right away, because they sort of wanted to have the baby by themselves and have that experience by themselves and not have the families, either one of their families, interfere. So I think, you know, they tend to sort of like their own little immediate family.